welcome to this week's Downton Gabby, the Downton Abbey chat show. So, if you have not caught up on the series yet, stop. Do not watch this video, because you are going to hate yourself after. But, if you're caught up, proceed. So, last week was super messed up with the whole Anna being raped by that other guy thing, and the whole Tom being taken advantage of by Edna. So, this week, Anna is all bruised, and she doesn't want anything to do with Mr. Bates. She's bruised physically and emotionally. She can't even look at her husband. She doesn't want him touching her. She can't talk to him. It's a really bad situation, and it was really sad to see her talking to Mrs. Hughes about it, and she's like, I'm not worthy of him, all this stuff, like, I'm not clean. It's not your fault. And she still has to deal with Mr. Green because the house party didn't leave yet. She had to sit next to him at breakfast. That's so messed up, and he's just like, what's up? So it's finally goodbye to say, it's finally goodbye. It's finally time to say goodbye to the house party, including the servants. So get the F out, Green. Nobody wants you here anymore. Don't let the servants' door hit you in the butt. Or do, because you deserve it. So, Thomas, I'm not talking about Tom, I'm talking about Thomas, the under-butler. That's just a weird word, under-butler, is creeping on Edna and Tom Branson talking about their stuff and what happened. He didn't get the whole conversation, but he's like, something weird going on there. They would never even really talk, so there must be something weird going on. And later on in the episode, Edna busts into Tom's room and is like, well, what if I'm preggers? What if I'm having your baby? Slow down, Kelly Kapoor. Let's not play the what if game. She's obviously trying to trap him in some sort of relationship, and she doesn't even know if she's having his baby or not. So, like, chill out. You're a schemer, and it's gross. So, it's really, really difficult to watch the interactions between Anna and Bates, because you just want him to know what's wrong, but she doesn't want to tell him because she cares about him so much, and she doesn't want him to murder Green and then get a death penalty, or the death penalty. So, it's just not a good situation, and he doesn't know what's wrong. But she's all like, I want to move back into the house, and she does end up doing that, and it's really sad. And the whole family can tell that, like, something weird is going on with her, because she's, like, super quiet and not really, like, paying attention to what they're saying. Like, usually she'd be like, yeah, you look great, or yeah, you're not weird. So they're like, you're not answering us, what's going on? And she's like, I'm fine, whatever. So it's really sad. But let's talk about the more lighthearted kitchen love triangle, or sorry, rectangle that's been going on. Jimmy is clearly going after Ivy now because Alfred is into Ivy, and Jimmy's like, you know what, I could get her if I want to. So he's trying to, like, mess around with her. They're, like, making out in closets. Alfred walks in and he's like, bleh. And then when Daisy sees that Alfred is upset about that, she's like, bleh. So it's just, it's not a good situation for them. But Alfred is also considering trying out for this cooking course. I think it's at the Ritz in London, which is a big deal. And the course is for free if you can pass their test. And then after the course, there's a chance that you could get hired on as a chef. So it's a big deal. And Alfred has had an interest in cooking for a while, so he's like, I think I'm gonna do it. So he's preparing for that. And Daisy's like, well, that sucks if you leave. But Mrs. Patmore is all like, you know what? You can't hang on to these one-sided relationships forever. Amen, Mrs. Patmore. Amen. So, Lady Mary and Tom were going to London for some tax stuff, and Rose was like, I'm coming too. So, surprise! Of course, they're staying at Aunt Rosamond's house in London, and surprise, she's having a dinner party. And guess who's there? Lord Gillingham, the glamorous pirate, and Rose's flirty guy, who is also at the house party. I think his name was John. So it's a quick turnaround here from the house party to this dinner party. And they're like, let's go out to this jazz club. And they convince, I think it's really Rose and John behind this whole scheme, and then Lord Gillingham, we'll call him Tony now, or Tony Gillingham, whatever. He's Tony. He's all like, yeah, let's go. And Mary's like, well, I'll go if Tom goes. And Tom's like, well, I want to stay behind with Rosamond. And she's like, well, I was going to go. So then they're all like, fine. So they all end up going, long story short, even though I said the long story anyway. So I thought Tony Gillingham was supposed to be almost engaged, but he's being super, super flirty with Lady Mary. And I think it's pretty obvious that he likes her. It's pretty obvious. So then the flirty guy, John, is dancing with Rose, and he obviously had a few drinks before this whole get-together, and he's pretty drunk, and he has to leave the dance floor to go throw up, basically. So she is stuck out on the floor with no one to dance with, which apparently was a huge embarrassment, because then the American jazz singer, Jack Ross, who is black, what? It sounds ridiculous, but it was a big deal back then. He rescued her on the dance floor and started dancing with her. And then everyone back at the table was like, it's time to go get her, go get her. So they go and get her, and they leave. But it looks like there was a little love connection between Jack Ross and Rose. So there could be something there in the future. They're not just going to bring that guy in for one little scene. But that's definitely going to be something to keep an eye on in the future. Alright, so back at Downton, they're back. Tom is like, you know what, I gotta get this off my chest. It's freaking me out. So he tells Mrs. Hughes what happened with Edna, and she's like, I don't approve of this, but she is a biatch. So Mrs. Hughes does some snooping, which is her best. She's just a great snooper. She's awesome at it. So she calls Edna out. She's like, I know you're not pregnant, which she didn't really know at the time, because you're reading Married Love by Mary Stopes, which was such a scandalous book at the time. I was just reading about this. It was basically to like stop unplanned pregnancies and stuff, but it was like really controversial at the time. So she's like, I know you're not pregnant, keep your mouth shut. And Edna's all like, you went through my stuff, blah. So Mrs. Hughes basically tells her, like, if you open your mouth about any of this, you're getting a crappy reference and you're never going to work again in your life. Whoa. So Edna knows that it's time to leave. She catches Thomas on her way out. She's going up the stairs. He's like laughing at her. He's like, you're a loser, get out. Which was kind of fun to see. So she leaves. Bye-bye. You suck. Alright, so that's another lady's maid gone. And quickly, too. So, this is where it gets super, super crazy. So they just got back from London, and all of a sudden, Tony Gillingham is back at Downton. What? He actually took the same train back as them, but he was sitting in third class because he wanted to make this long trip to ask a short question. Oh my god, he proposed to Lady Mary. What? That was really, really fast. He was like, you know what, I know that your husband just died like less than a year ago. I don't know where this episode is time-wise in relation to the series premiere, which was 6 months after Matthew's death. So I don't know how much time has transpired since then. I'm assuming it's not that much, but who knows. But he's like, yeah, I know you're trying to like deal with that. I want you to take like as long as you need, but I want to know that you will marry me when you're ready. So it's like, what? Okay, I'm thinking at this moment, oh my god, it's so soon. I miss Matthew. But Gillingham is awesome too. Like, I don't know what it is. He's just got like this, he just seems so caring and like he really cares about Mary, which is nice. But he's still not Matthew, and Matthew is like her missing puzzle piece. So I don't know what to think about it. I mean, maybe if it was like further down the line, but like it's just so fresh still. But I want to know what you guys think. So leave in the comments what you think about Gillingham proposing to Mary, if you think it's too soon, if you think she should accept. Let me know. So, Isabel seems very accepting of him. He stayed overnight. He was at dinner. She was at dinner. She shook his hand. She's a classy lady. She was like, my son is dead, but I want my daughter-in-law to be happy. So that was cool of her. And the next day, before he leaves, he's kind of like, you know what, I need an answer. And she's like, I'm not ready. So he was like, all right, well, if you say no, understand that I have to get married because of the way the class structure is, whatever. He's like basically being forced to get married. So he's like, I'm gonna have to marry that other girl. And she's like, I understand, and I'm sorry, but goodbye. So before he leaves, he's like, all right, kiss me and then I'll leave you alone. So they kiss, and they both seemed pretty into it. Moving on. One of the best lines of this episode. Okay, so they're talking to Lord Grantham, and he's like, oh, I wish Edith was here right now, but she's up in London. Like, she's so mysterious. And Mary is like, Edith's about as mysterious as a bucket. Ah! It's so true, though. Come on, she's seeing her boyfriend in London. Let's get real. So he's about to leave for Munich because he's going to try to become a German citizen so he can divorce his wife. And guess what? Edith gave him a little parting gift. She spent the night. So her aunt found out about it because her maid saw her walk of shaming in at 6 a.m. Oh, snap. So she's basically like, don't do that because you might regret it. Will she regret it? I don't know. Maybe we'll find out in future episodes. Maybe nothing will happen, but we'll see. So, just to close out this episode, I feel like I've been talking for hours. I am still so all about the Mary and Tom friendship. It's awesome. So they were talking about some sort of farming thing, and they had a little personal moment where he was like telling her how relieved he was because he got that secret off his chest, and she was like, am I gonna regret something that I just did? Which was her referring to saying no to Gillingham. So like, will she regret it? I don't know. But maybe it's not over. Maybe it is. Alright, so next time, that's where the episode ended. Next time, there's a new lady's maid in the house, and she knows Thomas somehow. She seems really nice. We'll see. How does that happen? But we'll see. There's some farm drama with some tenants, and Anna and Bates. More fallout. It's really sad. Hopefully it will be resolved soon. And until next time, much love.
Edit.